Hello, everyone. So welcome to this session. It's going to be about live demos with Eclipse. Okay, so before we start, my name is Santan. I'm a software engineer at Red Hat, and I've been contributing to the Eclipse project for maybe 6 years now. And yes, I'm also enjoying speaking at various events, of course, Java Today's, but also Java One, EclipseCon, and so on. And during my free time, I'm leading the Paris Java user group, and I'm also brewing my own beer in my kitchen. So if you go through Paris, just let me know, and maybe we can share a beer together. You can follow me in Twitter with the handle @_Unix_. And also, yeah, I'm tweeting from time to time short videos about great features that we have in Che with the hashtag Chejoy. So you can already have a look. But after the talk, of course. Okay, so wait. I have just received an email from Sébastien Blanc. It's one of my colleagues. So let's have a look to what he's saying. So he's saying that, yes, he's on PTO. So yeah. And his manager is asking him to work on the Post-it app. Yes, I know this Post-it app. I've been working on that a few times ago, but it's been a long time. And the customer would like to have the title in uppercase for tomorrow. Damn it. And I wish you could help me on that. Here the source code. Come on. Okay, let's have a look. Maybe we can help him. How do I exit that? Yes. So the Post-it app, as far as I remember, it's available in our OpenShift cluster. So, and it is composed of 3 components. So there is a Mongo database, Quarkus backend, and a Node frontend. Yeah. So, and how? Yeah. Maybe you're wondering how it looks like. So I can open it from there. Yes. Yeah. So it looks like that. So it's a very great application. So you can enter some items like hello, Java 2 days. Yeah. And when I hit submit, it will store the data in the Mongo database going through a Quarkus backend. So yeah, very great. And as I understand what it is, so it's, the mail is here. So it is asking to set the title in uppercase. So I guess we want to set that in uppercase somehow. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do because I don't have anything installed on my laptop. So let me do let's see if I can, if I have a Mongo database first. No, I don't have anything. Maybe something like that. Yum search, Mongo. Oh, okay. I think NoSQL. That's gonna be tricky. So wait a minute. Let's have a look to the source code. So in GitHub. Oh, what's that? It's a dev file.yaml. Oh, I think I heard about that. I remember now. It is a file that would help you to generate new workspaces in Eclipse. And what I can just do is take my repo and add a Che the chair host, and coding the factory URLs, and that would generate a new workspace. I can even try by clicking on that button. Let's give a try. Let's have a look. So, so this is a chain instance that we have in our office, or our data center. If you see, if I need to increase the font in the chat, let me know if you are there, if you can hear me, because I feel like lonely in this room. Yeah, so this is Eclipse, and yeah, so it is starting the workspace. So when I click on the button, and yeah, if you want to start a sample project, you can go to get it started on your chain instance. Until it is installed, of course, and start any project in there. Or you can just provide. So as I did, but a bit differently. If I provide the Git URL to Che, that would automatically generate what we call the dev file. So what is that dev file? It is everything that is needed to generate a new workspace that would contain not only the source code, so the source code is here, but also the plugins. So I can go down. So here there is a bunch of plugins. Well, let's have a look in GitHub because it's a bit more clear. So there is the so there's a bunch of them. So one is Quarkus Java 11. And there's also the TypeScript one, and so on. What we can also find in that dev file is the runtime container. So the things that I wanted to install locally on my machine. So, for instance, Mongo, I don't want to install that on my machine. Okay, so there is a simple way to declare that to the dev file, and that will start the Mongo database. So using the container image. So here we are using a CentOS, the CentOS one. Okay, so it has started. I will go through the dev file. So when it is continuing to load, there is also some containers to run my backend prod. So you can see that it is using here UBI minimal, which is a very tiny container to run Quarkus native application. There is what we call a node frontend image, which is a basic node image. And it will also provide other containers to build your application. So this one is a special one because it will allow me to either start the Quarkus backend in dev mode or to build the application in natively with GraphVM. So this image contains GraphVM. So I don't have anything. So there is also other containers here.
You can increase your font size a bit.
Yes, of course. Like here, Git and so on. So yes, so let's have a look to the generated workspace. So it has been generated. It's a brand new one, and so I've configured this workspace with a plugin called Deduct that will provide to the new people who are using this, who will generate this workspace and use it. It will provide a guide that will help the user to understand a bit what he can do. And for instance, there is some guide saying that there is a Mongo database and that you can run this predefined task to show the post item that is in the database. And that would execute a command, and it shows an empty array. So what did just happen? So there is in the right side there is a panel called My Workspace View, and that shows all the containers that we have defined in our dev file and that has been generated. So we can find, for instance, the Mongo database, and you see this command. So I haven't show you there, but these are the commands that I have in the dev file as well. So I can say, okay, let's find the one that we just started. So it's show post. So it's the last one, and we say, okay, run show post in the Mongo container, and run this command. And so I don't have to remember how to run this command. So this is running a Mongo database in a container, the right container, the one that we would use in production. So probably that one, but in a new workspace which is isolated and generated on demand. And I can, so the next step would be to start the Quarkus, because what we want to do, if I remember the email from Sebi, we want to set the title in uppercase. But before doing that, maybe we want to start the application to see if it's really working or not. I can first open the file. So this is the Java, but this is a file where we're going to do our modification. So probably here. All right. But let's start the application and see how it looks like, and then we're gonna do the modification as CP requested. So I'm gonna start. Yes, let's start it here. So start dev mode Quarkus backend. So that's gonna run the command to start the dev mode. So the dev mode in Quarkus is a way to start your application with the debug mode and the live reload. And there is an iframe here to show the entry point, the post entry point. So this is a REST API. Okay. And as you remember, we had it is empty. So if you want to properly test our application, we want to start the front end as well. So there is a command. Well, yeah, I can start it from here as well. So start React.js front end in dev mode. So I can do it from here, and that will start the React.js in dev mode. So it's gonna compile. And here we are. We have our application. So this is all these things are running inside my workspace. So the Mongo, the Quarkus backend in dev mode in that container, and the Node application in that container as well. Okay, and I can start to add some items like hello. Hello, Sophia. Oh. Okay, it works. I can even check if I have the items in my database. So here it is. Good. So I could reproduce. I could restart the application in dev mode and without having to install anything on my computer, on my laptop. So no Mongo database, no Quarkus Java stuff. So if I open terminal, I don't even have Maven installed. So no, and I can start coding in Java in a second. So what we want to do here is set the title here in uppercase. So what I'm gonna do is use the IntelliSense of Eclipse 3 that is actually using the Visual Studio Code, the Java extension for Visual Studio Code, but we run that in Che because we have made things compatible with VS Code extension. So you could say uppercase, for instance, okay, and just hit refresh, and here we are. It's in uppercase. Okay, good. I think, something else you can also do and pre-configure in the dev file for your user is to start the debug mode. So you can either click here or go to or press F5 or click here, run, start debugging. Or I would just click here because it's I like the guide. It's quite new. I did it this morning, by the way. Start the debugging. I forgot to set a breakpoint here. Yeah, so normally if I refresh it, it should stop at the breakpoint. I can even change the local variable here. Yeah, so here, Paris, and continue, and there, hello Paris. There we are. Okay, so what else out? So I think we yes, of course there is the Git. Oops, I'll close that. There's this Git panel, and you can diff, you can push. I have not included the pull request panel, but you can include the plugin to make a pull request as well. And what else? There is you can. Yes, if you don't want to, if you don't feel like installing GraalVM to perform your application, most of the people, what they do is that they set up a CI environment to do that. But with Che, we're already in the cloud, so we can take advantage of the resources that we have in the cloud and do it in our workspace that is running in the cloud. And I can do run Quarkus, the native build of Quarkus. I won't do that here because it takes some time. I've done that previously in in that cluster. So this is another Che cluster, another workspace. And you see, it took like 40 minutes. But it is important to be able to do that in development mode because sometimes you have some difference when you want to run your application. In native mode, there's some difference that you won't find out if you just run the Quarkus dev mode, so the JVM version. Right. If I click here, it starts in very quickly and it works. So that the Quarkus native build that's I have done. So if you have a look at the log, you see it's been pretty fast in running that. Wait, is the it usually say it started in a few seconds, so it's not written. Anyway, it was very quick, but it took a long time to compile. So here, unfortunately, it depends on the resources you have in your. So this cluster is not that good, that nice. And so that's pretty it for the first demo. So I don't know how much time I have. So, but I can make a second demo if you like. And of course, if you have any questions, don't hesitate. So no questions. And I can show you a few slides, maybe. So yes, before starting the demo, just a few slides, and then I will play with Scratch. I don't know if you know Scratch. Maybe not. Okay, so just to recap, what is Eclipse? So Eclipse is so there's three important things. The first thing is that your workspace will run inside Kubernetes pods, and it will try to replicate what you have in production in Kubernetes. It means that if you run something in Che, there's much chance more chance that your application will run in the same condition that in production. And as you can see, once you have your dev file and your project, your dev file setup, it's very easy to start, and anybody can run the project and start to contribute to that project. The second thing is that it will protect your code. I mean, we are a lot here now at the moment working from home, and you don't know how many things that's maybe insecure in your local network. So I heard some people using IPTV to watch soccer. I don't do that, but some does, and you don't know what there's in there and what's in your networks. It is like a Trojan horse, and the fact that we run Che in your data center, it will avoid you to download the source codes and all the configuration files locally in your computer, in your laptop, and security code and run your application in the cloud. And as you can see, the look and feel is very close to Visual Studio Code. The third thing is the developer environment as code. So what I call developer environment as code. It's taking inspiration from the infrastructure as code, but we are adding things like the project to clone or the commands to the predefined commands, or the container to build your application and the containers to run your application, and that can generate new workspace on demand and isolated. So it means that, for instance, if I go back to my workspace and say I have pushed the changes, if I want to switch to another workspace, as long as I don't remove it, I can do it. So yes, so I can switch up. I won't do that because it's let's do that and we'll see. So I can, for instance, start this workspace, and all the things, all the project, the configuration would be isolated. So it means that I can come back here and be in the same states. So these are isolated. I can have multiple workspace of the same from the same dev file. So for instance, if I work on a branch, I don't want to push it or I'm waiting for reviews. I can start to work on a new issue without dealing with Git stash and so on. Okay. And yeah, so the web ID, it's a web-based ID. So there is by default we're using this user interface, which is Eclipse TIA, and Eclipse TIA is a project that is implementing an ID, a web ID. And we're using that, and we put that inside a pod, a Kubernetes pod, and this is Eclipse. So Che is not only based on TIA. So you could configure Che to run, for instance, any other web-based IDE. So we have, if you have a look to Code-Ready Workspaces, which is the Red Hat projects behind Eclipse Che, that use Eclipse Che as an upstream project. So Code-Ready Workspaces is the project, so that's it's Eclipse Che, but maintained by Red Hat and supported by Red Hat. You will find, if you use Code-Ready Workspaces, the ability to run another editor, not the TIA based ID, but the IntelliJ ID. And of course, you can use any other web-based ID. So this is about configuration. So this is one of the capabilities that we have in Che. And so the main idea is to say, okay, we have our application that runs in a pod, for instance. And what we're going to do is add tools as sidecar containers. And that would, so it could be some tools as containers, just containers. So as, for instance, the Git containers that I've shown to you, or the build containers. Or it could be the editor. So in our case, it's TIA. And it could be also language server containers, so and plugins. So for instance, the Java IntelliSense has its own containers, and that would run inside the pod in Kubernetes. So as you see, when you're coding in Che, you would be very close to your production environment, because the containers will run in Kubernetes. So it will be not that many differences with what you have in production. So the dev file looks like that. If you want to start from Che, a dev file. So this is the other project that I've cloned, I've restarted. So, and this is my own project. So we're using Che to code in Che, and this is one of the dev files. Okay. Let's go back to. I'm gonna stop that one as well. Let's go back to here. So yes, if you want to start, if you have a Che instance working, you can give a try with one of the samples. So, for instance, if I start Quarkus, so I won't start it because I wanted to show something else. So you can start like that. I will stop it, but you can also have look at the custom workspace here. It is a workspace, a way to customize the workspace. So you can take one of the templates. So the one I started previously was the Quarkus REST API. So you click here, and then you can customize it. So you can add your plugins. For instance, PHP. So that would be. So that would in a Sidecar container. So for instance, for the Java extension, we run container which has Java installed. So you won't have to install Java on your machine. Yes, on the main container. So it looks like a Docker Compose file, if you know Docker Compose, but we add more elements like the project grounds and so on. So you can give a try like that, create a dev file, and then add that to your Git repos, like I did it. So you Git repo, and then you could start your application with the right URL. So this is an example of how you can do it. So you provide the URL, and that would generate. You provide the GitHub project, and that would generate the. It would have a look to the to the project itself, see if there's a dev file, and then pause the dev file and generate the project for you. Okay, so if I'm finished with the slide, I can maybe play. Oh yes, so how to test Che? So there is che.opportunity.io. So this is I can click here. Yes, this is a free way to test Che. It's quite limited, so there is a very poor storage. And okay, but it's gonna be replaced. We're going in a few months to replace that with something that we call a dev sandbox, and that would be much faster. So just if you are interested to try Che, just keep posted. Maybe following me in Twitter, and I will probably send a few tweets about the dev sandbox with Che. So this is the way to test it quickly. But you could also install Che in any of the public clouds. So you can, for instance, we have some documentation in the doc. Docs. No. Che docs. Yeah. So if you go to the Che documentation, so there is a section called installing Che, and installing Che in the cloud. So for instance, in Google Cloud, and I've actually done that. So there is I can show you my Google Cloud instance I'm using. It's from time to time. So, and it's cost me about 30 euros per month. So that can sound, a lot. So 30 euros a month. But if you take consideration that once you have the things running in the cloud, you won't have to buy a new laptop, because the more we're going, we need more resources, and with Che, then once you have that in the cloud, you only have to pay for what you are consuming. And to me, 30 euros a month, it's okay. I can run that with any cheap laptop, and I can run things like native compilation. There's no problem. Okay, so sorry. So different ways of installing Che. You can installing locally, but it to me doesn't really make sense. So you can try. It's free with Minikube, for instance. It works. And of course, on-prem, I have to show you the easiest way to install Che is in OpenShift. So you go to Operator Hub. You're looking for Eclipse Che. So I have already installed that cluster, but then you click install and start a cluster, and here we go. So in a few clicks, you can have an Eclipse Che up and running. Okay, And you can also install Code Workspaces. So Code Workspaces is it's a version of Che that is maintained by Red Hat. So that is the one that is maintained by Red Hat. But it's quite the same. So the stack are quite different, but it's basically the same features. Okay, so let's make I don't know how much time I still have, but I can make a very fun demo.
Minutes.
Okay, so let's do it. So I don't know if you know Scratch. So Scratch, it's a kind of programming language that you can use for to program an application by moving blocks. So for instance, here this is when I create a project. So you go to scratch.mit.edu, and then you create an account, and then you create a new project, and this is where you are landing. And you have this little cat here. This is the game board, and you can move. Some actions in here. So this is a source code, like for instance, move 10 steps. So if usually we use the green flag to start the cat. So as you can see, it doesn't do anything here because there is some other categories of blocks, and there's one moves 10 steps. So it's actually moving 10 pixels. So that's why it's not moving so fast. I can have then a control here when we can have things like for each loops. So I can say repeat 10 step, move 10 step, and that will do it. Or I can do something like forever move 10 step, and that would move forever. So come back, little cats. You see, I can just click on stop. That will stop. Okay. You can make great projects. I can show you one of the projects I've done with my son. So he's 8 years old. It's called Course de voiture remix. It means a race car in French. Okay, it looks like that. So it's, as you can see, it's quite simple. So I have what we call the sprites. So it's the cars. And then I can click on the green flag. So I will make that full screen, click on start, and then use my keyboard to control the car. Okay, so this is Scratch. I can make a very simple application like that by just moving blocks. And what I did is, so I closed that project. I started a project with one of my colleagues. It's called Kubernetes, Scratch Kubernetes. Okay. So obviously there is a dev file. So let me just let me just start that with the dev file. So I can go back to my instance. So not that one. Yes, that one. And I can do instead of that. Sorry. I can do start this project. Let's load this project. So it's loading you can load the project, the dev file, and then create an open. And it will take a few minutes, maybe a minute and a half, usually. And I can show you, yes, what's the purpose of this project. So, so the goal of this project, I thought I had a screenshot of the. I thought I had a screenshot of the. Oh yes, it's there maybe. Of the how we call it, the architecture the architecture diagram. Okay, what? Something is wrong. Why? Don't know. It's better like that. This is strange. Okay, so yeah, so there is so the goal of this project is to create new blocks, as you've seen in Scratch, that will interact with Kubernetes. So it would be, for instance, get namespace block to get the current namespace, or set namespace, or get pods that we have in the current namespace, and so on. So and then you will be able in Scratch to move the blocks, and maybe then create your own application, your cloud native application. That you could imagine that you could create something like the OpenShift console, but in Scratch. So replacing that, create that user interface, but in Scratch. Who knows? So to do that, there is a Quarkus backend that will use the Fabricate client to interact with Kubernetes. Okay, and that would expose the REST API. And so Scratch is actually a Node.js application, and it is composed of two things. So there is the GUI, which is the user interface that you have seen. And there is a Scratch VM, which is the engine that will take the blocks that is composing your application and run it. And so what you could do is have an extension in both of them that will make the REST calls to the Quarkus backend. And because this is quite a big challenge to set up all these things, we could do that in Chi. And so if I'm coming back to the generated workspace, we could clone the projects. Oops. There is this guide that will explain you everything. So, yes, that will tell you what to do. So I would start the free tasks. So I can also check if I'm connected on the OpenShift cluster. So I think I have the OpenShift plugin, so I can go into that container and do, for instance, OC projects, OC get pods, for instance. So yes, there is 3 pods here. Okay, can I create a new pod? Yeah, let's try to do that. No space left on device. Okay, let me clean up some projects. Late. And try again. Where is it? I'm lost. So install. Come on. Fresh. So first, install the required dependencies. Right. And yes, I was going to open the OpenShift console and see. Yes, I would like to create a new pod. So I have to go to workloads, pods, and maybe I can create a new pod here. But let's just wait for the workspace to be started. So okay. Oh, why? Okay, so this is the for the demo effect. I don't know how it is. It should work, but I think I have run the demo too many times in this workspace. Okay. Okay. You know what? If you have any problems with that, you can let me see if I can start. Let's see if I can yes, I have to see the deployment config. So very sorry. It shouldn't be like that. It should work. But I would clean up manually the content. How much time do I still have?
2 minutes, but you can go a bit over that.
Okay, that wasn't expected. Thanks. Let's see if I can quickly clean up the content.
You can show when stuff breaks in the cloud.
Exactly, but that's a disk-based issue. So it's not really some application that is breaking. No space left on the device.
Anyways,
yes. So I wanted to start a container that have access to my volume, the whole volume thing, because I think that's maybe it wasn't well cleaned up. So this is supposed to be the container that is doing that, but I'm not sure why it is not starting as well. Neither. So the demo gods are not with me, but what I can try to do, I can try to run that on my GCP instance. So wait a minute. Where's my GCP instance? Here. But then I won't have time to play the whole demo. No worries. I would, just workspace, add the workspace. Then I could provide just my the URL and create. So it's using the dev file it would generate. It's in GCP, so Google Cloud Platform. It's in a plain Kubernetes, and with the dev file it would run exactly the same configuration. So I don't have to see. So even if I lose my laptop somehow, I would still be able to code an application. And yes, so let me have a look if here the cleanup container has been started. It is not starting. I'm not sure why. Oh, interesting. Okay. I think it should be okay now. You know why? Oh, I have. Okay, let's restart that. Because yes, so there is some problem with one of the pods that are removing the data. So, but I have a full the same container is running in two different instances in the cloud. Yes, but if you want to see it working, sorry, if it doesn't work and if you have to shut down, yes, I get the same demo at Eclipse Con, so it is in YouTube. Yeah, so.
Best container is a video containing it.
Yeah, but that's not fun. Yeah, there's a video here, so I can show you. YouTube Scratch, coding Kubernetes Scratch with. So I would close that, but yeah. So yeah, so this is here. So if I can share the link in the chat, and you can have a look. And yeah, so let's wait a bit. Usually it's working. Ah. Okay. So I have 3 workspaces here. Okay. Okay. Okay, so this I can remove that one. So yes, this is a pod that will mount the whole volume where I have all the file system for all the workspace. So, and sometimes in this instance, so this is we have the workspace are not cleaned up properly for some reason, and so I have to do it manually. And I'm running out of space when I want to make a demo. And yeah, so not sure why everything is slow. So any questions so far? Okay, so there is one question. So this Scratch Kubernetes sounds a very cool idea. Okay. Can you please ping me at the GitHub URL? Yes, the GitHub URL. I can paste the URL here. And any other questions?
It would be fun if this IDE shows you how much money you're spending in the cloud when you run the tests.
You could do that. So it's open source and contribution are welcome. No, yes, we're currently working on a monitoring plugin. But yes, so extensions are basically Visual Studio Code extension, and then we have APIs to talk to Kubernetes, for instance. You could do that. So if you, so yes, so you could like, and then it depends on how much it costs. So it's of course it's changing. It is changing after depending on the cloud provider. So let's be crazy. Google, no, Kubernetes. What is my to open that? But if usually the cloud provider provides you nice, yes, it's gonna be quite so yeah. So if you go to so sorry, it's in French, but if you go to bills or invoices, there is a part where most of the cloud provider that provide that, so you can see how much it costs your resources and kind of analyze. So this is my Workspace that this is running. So and you can see that, for instance, it cost me yes, in the last month. So I stopped that instance during the weekend and during the night, but otherwise it cost me 35 euros. And then we're working on an extension in Che to have metrics on the container on the workspace itself. So you could maybe see if there is how much you pay for a specific a test, for instance, maybe.
I meant it mostly as a joke. You're right that with plugins, you can go pretty far. It's pretty amazing, this tool.
Let's just see if, yeah, so that's the problem of Che. So yes, there is a problem. So it's not a problem of Che, it's the fact that on GCP I don't have enough resources, I guess. So because I don't want to pay that much, I'm just having small nodes to run Che, and I guess it doesn't start well. Don't know why this one has not started. So this is a big failure for me tonight, but it happens. So the debuggers were not with me, but it will work just after the talk. So I guess we can close the session. What do you think?
Yes, thank you very much for this talk, Sam. It was really amazing.
Yes, and hope so. The first part was working, but the second part, when I reached the disk space issue, it just got crazy. So anyway, it will. You have the videos, and it will work next time. Maybe next year.
Yeah, just make sure to implement disk size checking in Che, so this won't happen on your next talk.
Yes, I'm counting on you to do that. It's open source.
Okay, I can take a look. Thank you very much, Sam.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, take care. Bye.
Bye.
Yes, take care. Bye.
Bye.